So my two teenage boys are fist fighting in the back of my minivan as we are heading to church. Now that seems kind of ironic. So I pull out my Doterra Wild Orange. I put a couple of drops on my hand, rub them together, put it up to the air conditioner, and within minutes, I couldn't believe what just happened. What happened next were my two boys were calm, even happy and getting along before we entered that church building. To me, that was a miracle. As a mom, thinking how quickly these worked. We had been using oils just for maybe a few months, and so super new to them, but seeing how quickly that they worked. And so I want to share with you the benefits of Doterra Wild Orange. It's one of my favorite essential oils. There's over 1,500 studies done on this oil. You can find them at pubmed.gov. And I want to share some of my tips and tricks and usages for wild orange. Some of the questions that I'm going to answer and are often asked about doTERRA essential oils and wild orange especially. What is doTERRA Wild Orange good for? What does doTERRA Wild Orange help with? Can you put wild orange in water? How many oranges are in a bottle of doTERRA Wild Orange? Is wild orange essential oil good for sleep? What can I diffuse with wild orange? So first, what are some of the uses of doTERRA Wild Orange? So think aromatically first. This is one of my favorite oils. For most people, the citrus oils are very uplifting. This brings in a feeling of abundance. So you have an abundance of time, money, energy, patience. That's one of my big ones. So putting this in a diffuser or putting it some drops in your hands, breathing it in, having it just in the air helps you to feel more uplifted, energized, and that there is enough. Wild orange also contains high amounts of what's called limonene. So it's a chemical that's found in most citrus oils. It's high in lemon, high in wild orange. So this is great for cleaning, for cleansing. So you can put some drops in your cleaning spray, clean surfaces, clean the bathroom. It smells heavenly. So think of it as cleansing. There are also ways to use it internally. So putting it in some water is great for internal digestive support. It's great for boosting the immune system. Another important question that people ask is, can you put doTERRA's Wild Orange essential oil on yourself topically? Yes, you can. There are some great benefits to putting wild orange on your body. Like I said, it's cleansing, so it's something that can be great for your face, for your skin, for blemishes. But one caution with citrus oils, including wild orange, is that it can make your skin photosensitive. So you don't want to go out into the sun for 12 hours after applying a citrus oil, unless you have sunscreen. So if you have SPF 15 or above, then you shouldn't have any problem. But you can also put it in places that the sun doesn't shine, or put it on at night, and when you wake up in the morning, you should be good to go. So where does doTERRA's Wild Orange come from? So we actually source oranges from Greece and Brazil, and they're grown in a climate that produces one of the most potent and beneficial wild orange essential oils with such a great aroma. If you haven't smelled this, I would encourage you, get a sample. You can click below, you can get a sample of this to give it a try and see how it affects you emotionally and physically. Some great oils to diffuse with wild orange are arbor vitae, frankincense, peppermint, spearmint, and I love cedarwood. And doTERRA's Wild Orange is amazing for internal support. It's great for helping with healthy inflammatory response, and also with that digestive metabolism type support. So if you're needing support in that way, you can just put a couple of drops in your water and drink it. It tastes heavenly. Just make sure that you're putting it in a stainless steel water bottle or ceramics or glass. Don't put it in plastic. And did you know it takes 10 pounds of oranges to produce this one 15 milliliter bottle of essential oil? And they take the rind and then they cold press. They squeeze the oils actually out of the rind of the orange. And just before I share a couple of experiences that people have had using wild orange, I also want to share that it's good for sleep. Now, even though it's invigorating and uplifting and energizing, it's very calming if you are experiencing stress or those anxious feelings. So if you're having a hard time like falling asleep, calming your mind before going to bed, and that's the reason you're having trouble going to sleep, then wild orange might be the thing for you. You can put it in a diffuser right by your nightstand and be breathing that in. And I would recommend about 20 minutes before you go to bed is start diffusing. So a couple of experiences, I shared the one in my car, but this has been my go-to for myself for personal stress and anxious feelings. So I will often couple that with peppermint because that one is also invigorating. So in the middle of the day, if I'm feeling a little stressed or anxious or a little bit tired, I will diffuse those together, and I absolutely love them. An experience that I heard from one of my friends is she was teaching an essential oil class, and her father-in-law had come to this class and was half paying attention, and he just kind of jokingly said, "Hey, do you have something for my acid reflux?" So he's had acid reflux for a really long time. He had been on medication for it, and if he didn't take his medication at night, that he would be up all night long, that he couldn't sleep. So she had recommended just putting a couple of drops in some water and drinking that before going to bed. Now he was totally skeptical, but he was like, "I'll give it a try just to support my daughter-in-law in her business." And so he didn't take his medication, and he did the wild orange that night, and he slept the whole night. And he thought, well, maybe that was a fluke. Let's give this another try. So he did it again, and again, the same result, that he didn't have to take his medication. He was able to sleep without it. And he continued using this. And then what happened, he came back to her several months later and said, "Hey, this is really interesting because I was also taking a medication for erectile dysfunction." And what he found out is that there was a side effect from the initial prescription that he was taking for his acid reflux that caused erectile dysfunction. He didn't know that. He thought it was just because he was getting old. So he was off the one for acid reflux, but then, unbeknownst to him, he didn't need the Viagra anymore. So it's kind of a funny story, but interesting how something so simple and natural can be beneficial to our bodies, support our bodies without the side effects. Now I'm going to put up a testimonial experience from Tanya, and she's going to share her experience with wild orange. You can grab my beginner's guide below. It gives you lots of resources for the top 10 essential oils. And if you don't have your own essential oils in your home, you can grab one of our starter kits for a discounted price. I will link those up below as well. And coming up next, I will share with you my top mom essential oil tool.